All right, let's talk UFC 312. Dricus Du Plessis versus Sean Strickland. John Weili versus Tatiana Suarez. I went 9-2 and 1 on the card because of the Jimmy Crute Rodolfo Bellato draw. Thought it was a decent card. I really did think it was all right. Not the best, not the worst. There was no name value, but I mean, I'm back with the predictions, dude. Like, I'm back to over 60%. Nailed it. Went 9-2 and 1, bringing my overall record to 30-19. We don't count draws because I'm just not putting a draw on the other side. There's usually not many draws or new contests in a year. But let's just get into this, and we're going to start with the main event, honestly. Let me know if you like this format more, me starting with the main event and going down, talking a little bit less about the prelim fights and more about the big fights. Dricus Du Plessis versus Sean Strickland. DDP put on an absolute masterclass. I thought he won all rounds, thought he was more active than Sean Strickland in the first round. And I thought that's kind of what won him the round was really activity. But then you get into all these other rounds, and it's not just the activity, but now it's the technique and the damage he's landing. You get to round 2, and this fight went exactly how I thought. It was Strickland doing the same thing as last fight, not improving on anything. DDP knowing how to beat it, finally being able to parry the jabs, and finally being able to find the chin of Strickland. That was something he struggled with a lot in the first fight, was finding the chin of Sean Strickland. Because Strickland he stands like straight up with a very defensive guard, and he moves well, he blocks well, he parries well. But what DDP would do is, like, he wouldn't throw straight punches because that's where he was struggling to find the chin of Strickland, unless he would go, like, with a 1-1-2. And that was more to throw off Strickland's timing. Where he would have success is, like, these looping punches, but they would come up top and come down, almost like he was throwing overhands, but he was using the overhands almost as a straight because it was a more frequent punch than he was throwing. So I thought the left high kick was very good. He caught Strickland with that a couple of times, and that looked very visible. But when you get to round 2, it's like, now he's starting to pick away at Strickland a little bit, and he really masterclassed him on the feet. Like, I didn't expect to see Dricus be able to masterclass him. I expected to see him get a lot of takedowns, but he was able to land to the legs, land a lot to the body, and land up head. He was a very kick-heavy attack, and it was great. Like, he did a good job. He was landing spinning elbows, spinning back fists. And you see at the end of round 2, Sean's now getting dejected. He's upset because he can't really find his shots. And I know it says he landed 128 significant strikes. I mean, kind of, but they weren't real clean landing strikes. They were really, like, off the guard of Dricus. Like, every single punch he was landing, it was kind of coming off the guard where he was, like, he was throwing it, and Dricus was, like, very hands up. He would throw it, it would glance off of, like, his arm, maybe touch his chin a little bit, and then Dricus would counter with a shot right away. And it was, Dricus' timing was really, really good, and he knew when Strickland wanted to throw because he knew the jab was going to come his way, and Strickland was going to come right back to home base. Jab defense, occasional teep kick, jab defense. It's like, Dricus knew exactly what Sean wanted to do when he spent all training camp preparing for timing and counters, and that's what worked really well for him. You get to round 3, and then he starts to dominate the fight even more, where he has just had his best round to that point in round 3, where he's picking apart Sean Strickland, honestly. He really is. And he's not only finding the right shots, he's making Strickland frustrated. He's being very damaging, and it's like, you're like, holy shit, dude, he's going to... You're looking at it, you're like, there is no success being had by Strickland. He is going to get 50-45 in this. He looks dejected. He can't... It was as clear as day. He just couldn't figure out Sean Strickland... Or Sean Strickland could not figure out Dricus Du Plessis, but Dricus Du Plessis figured out Sean Strickland. And that's one of the things I talked about leading up in the prediction video was... Chris Curtis even said this. Sean's a guy that is really awkward to fight for that first time because of his style. But with the second time you fight him, you've already figured it out because you know exactly what's coming. Nothing's changing. And that's exactly what happened in this. Dricus saw the first fight and goes, okay, I know exactly how this guy's going to fight. If something changes, that might get a little bit tougher. But at the end of the day, it doesn't. It never does. Because that's his style. It's Sean's style, and it's been very successful for him. But in rematches, Sean is going to struggle because people are going to be able to figure it out. Where Dricus Du Plessis is one of the best game planners in the game. And he's going to be able to kind of figure everything out as fights continue to progress, and no one else is going to be able to figure him back out because he's bringing new stuff to the table. Dricus had a ton of success with that left high kick. Another thing is, Dricus, I don't know if you guys can hear the snowblower. I live in Mass. We get a fuck ton of snow. Sucks. It is what it is. But hey, we're all shoveled out. So, Dricus in round 4 starts going off. And when I say going off, the reason why is they're kind of staring at each other, and Dricus throws a shot that absolutely shatters Sean's nose. Dricus shattered Sean's nose in the 4th round, and then starts hunting in for the finish, which is... I mean, Dricus is a finisher, and he really wants to get the finish, but Dricus isn't usually messy in getting his finisher. Well, I don't want to say he's not messy, but he usually doesn't rush it too much. This one, he seemed like he rushed a lot because he wanted to get Sean out of there now, and he knew that it was going to be very difficult to get Sean out of there rather than staying composed and finding other kinds of shots to set up the shot that's going to come upstairs to land on the nose of Strickland to make him wilt. Instead, he kind of rushed for the finish and kept chasing him down, and Sean was able to just kind of like run away a little bit. But you could see that punch bothered Strickland so bad right away. He's touching it. The nose is gushing. He's touching it a lot. He's going, oh my God. Oh my God. And he starts tweaking out. Then round 5 comes around, and Strickland his nose is gushing, and he's starting to actually land more than he was in other rounds. Like, I thought he actually bit down on the mouthpiece a little bit more in round 5, and kudos to Sean Strickland for being able to grit through that shattered nose. He was super uncomfortable, like, puts it back together and goes out there and fights, like, tough dude, but holy shit. Dricus has got the power. I mean, but Sean's tough as shit, dude. Like, he really is. He went back out there, and he went out there to try and, win the 5th round, which wasn't going to do anything for him. He needed a finish, but, like, he bit down on the mouthpiece. He started swinging with Dricus in the 5th round. But Dricus 50-45 them, absolute masterclass, and then he sits there and calls out Pereira. They don't pan to Pereira. It's crazy. But we already know it's going to be the Khamzat fight, and a lot of people are going to talk about this Khamzat fight. Like, Khamzat could ragdoll him in the 1st round. It's like, yeah, he could. Khamzat's fucked if it gets to round 2, 3, 4, 5. And one of the reasons I'm going to say this is the cardio of Dricus Du Plessis was nuts. You see him breathing heavy in round 3, but he never slowed down, not once. He kept going, and he put a hell of a pace on Sean Strickland. He threw 316 strikes, not to mention about 150 of those, half of them were kicks. This guy was absolutely relentless with the pace and the pressure. Dude, he fucking marobbed it with power. Like, he marobbed it with, like, actually dangerous strikes. Insane, this guy's cardio. He can break Khamzat in 2 rounds, easy. The problem is, Khamzat's just such a good one-round fighter, he can, if he gets Dricus to the ground, he can submit him quick. But I don't know that that's going to happen. I think I picked Dricus Du Plessis because one of the things that Khamzat's really good at is bullying people around. He's an absolute bully. If he's bigger than you, if he's more physical than you, he's going to let it show. And that's what I give kudos to Khamzat for, is he is very big, very strong, and he uses his size and his weight very well. Chucks people around like ragdolls. I think he would have dominated Strickland in a round. He did dominate Whitaker. He's going to dominate Izzy if they ever fight. Like, he dominates these top guys that are not his size. Not his size, but, like, Khamzat's a huge dude. Dricus is also a huge dude. He looked bigger than I've ever seen him look in a fight this week. And he has that kind of cardio. And he's able to masterclass Strickland, which no one ever does. Like, people don't absolutely school Strickland. They get into really close pitter-pat fights with him. Dricus schooled him, and he schooled him on the feet. This is like when we saw Strickland school Izzy on the feet. We go, dude, the way for Strickland to win this fight is implement the grappling. And we're like looking at Dricus, and we're like, the way for him to clearly win this fight is to just consistently try and grapple. Dricus had 1 takedown because it was just gifted to him. He was there, he took it, and he had control for 5 seconds. It was nothing. Dricus schooled Strickland on the feet. We did not think that was... A lot of people didn't think that was going to happen. Whereas the same way goes for Strickland against Izzy. No one thought Strickland was going to school Izzy on the feet at the time. Now, in hindsight, 2020, it's like, Izzy, yes, he has the boxing problem, and the way Strickland moves is actually a nightmare for Izzy. I get it. But, like, holy shit. What a performance from Dricus Du Plessis. Absolutely took Strickland to school. I think he's going to be able to beat Khamzat. I really do. I think he is the only guy that I can see beating Khamzat, maybe other than Caio Borralho. You know how I feel about Caio Borralho. I think he's very, very good. One of the best fighters in this division. He could be the guy to take Dricus. But Khamzat can do it. I'm just not going to solidify and say that because I really look at DDP and go like, dude, Khamzat can't chuck him around like these other middleweights because Dricus is a lot stronger, a lot more physical. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Dricus is going to have the physicality advantage in this fight. I think he's going to have the striking advantage in this fight. Sure, when it gets to the ground, Khamzat's grappling is going to be better and probably his wrestling, but I think the gap is a little bit closer than people are going to anticipate. Man, DDP versus Khamzat. Dude, tell me DDP versus Khamzat isn't about to be the most anticipated fight for the rest of the year. It really is. Like Aspinall and Jones, yes. Ilya and Makhachev, yes. But now we're going to start talking about Dricus and Khamzat because this is a fight we want to see, we are going to see. I think it's the one the UFC is going to make. I'd love to see that happen soon. When I would tell Dricus Du Plessis, don't you dare go to Abu Dhabi. Don't you dare go to Saudi Arabia. You fight him in South Africa. You fight him in America. You fight him on neutral soil. You do not go to his home turf to fight. You do not do that. And I know it's not his home turf, but you have all these guys going, oh, dude, we're built different. Me and Khamzat, because we look alike and we believe in the same thing, we're built different. Dude, fuck off. Khamzat doesn't know you. Stop glazing. He's not going to let you hit, little bro. Okay? You guys aren't Khamzat. You guys aren't Makhachev. You guys aren't Khabib. You guys aren't Umar. Like, you're not them. You're not. They're their own fighters. They don't even rep your country, but at the end of the day, you know, we all know why. I think DDP needs to take this fight in, like, South Africa. Needs to take this fight in America. Needs to take a fight in Australia. Again, take it anywhere other than, like, a Saudi and Abu Dhabi. Don't go to the Middle East for this fight. Because if it goes to decision, and it's even remotely close, you know they're giving it to Khamzat. You just know. But realistically, that fight doesn't get to a decision. It's in 5 rounds. It's Khamzat gets a finish in the first, or DDP gets a finish in 2 through 4. But yeah, don't be stupid. And Sean Strickland, man, he gets his moment where he takes the mic. So DDP called out Pereira. Obviously, we're not going to see that. We're going to see the Khamzat fight. And Sean Strickland does his classic, takes the mic from DC, walks around the cage, does his speech. It gets bleeped out. Australian government is cowardice. Australian media is cowardice. They just don't like Sean Strickland because he's able to, you know, have free speech and he's critical of some of the things that they don't like taxes. It's stupid cowardice, dude. They're all victims. Everyone in the fucking media, no matter where it is, because I criticize America for it more than anything. Dude, American media is fucking cowards. Cowards. They're literally pussies. Biggest pussies I've ever met. Same with Australia. Same with the UK. The media, dude, mainstream media, pussies, bro. All pussies. They don't like Sean because of what he has to say. Dude, Sean can fucking yap and be really annoying on Twitter. I can 100% agree with that. And his fight style has not been fun. He had a great fight with DDP the first time, and this time the only reason I thought this fight was fun because the 5th round he finally sacked up and bit down on the mouthpiece, and then Dricus also brought it to him the whole time. But, like, the Costa fight was shit. The first DDP fight was great. The Izzy performance, like, it's not a fun one. It's crazy to see that he schooled Izzy. Fuck the media, man. But regardless, amazing performance from DDP, dude. Amazing. Going up in the pound-for-pound rankings, just saying that. But moving on, Zhang Weili versus Tatiana Suarez. Casual check, bro. I fucking told y'all. Idiots picking Tatiana, like, because why? You listen to Joe Rogan glaze, you listen to DC glaze, you listen to Chael Sonnen talk about how good her grappling is and her wrestling is. She went 1 for 15 on takedowns, and it was the first one where she got to the body lock immediately and toppled Zhang Weili over. She had nothing for Zhang Weili after that. She dominated in top position for most of it. For most of that round. And then Zhang Weili was, with about a minute and a half left, able to reverse position and get on top control and actually land more ground and pound than Tatiana did, but Tatiana still got the first round. But dude, after that, it was all one-way traffic from Weili, and this is what I said. This is exactly what I said to everyone, dude. Zhang Weili's grappling has improved tremendously fight to fight, but everyone wanted to say, well, Rose took her down 4 years ago. And that second fight with Rose debatably could have went to Zhang Weili. People forget that. People forget, man. But no, keep doing your thing. Listen to Joe Rogan and DC and Chael Sonnen because they know better. Like I said, they are more intelligent than me when it comes to the sport, but they also glaze the grappling a little too much, man. Tatiana has nothing other than good wrestling, and guess what? Zhang Weili has every single tool in the bag, not to mention she's been drilling wrestling for so long. Dude, she knows what her weakness was at the beginning, and it was her wrestling, and she has improved it tremendously to be the best grappler in the division. She is. 100% she is. She dominated Tatiana Suarez, because after that, Tatiana Suarez, she landed one strike to the head, dude. One significant strike to the head. She has no striking. She sucks at striking. She sucks in the feet. She's a great wrestler. That's it. There's nothing special. In MMA, you need to be able to do it all, and I get women's MMA is a little bit different, right? She ragdolled her last opponents. Montana De La Rosa, who's 13-9. Jessica Andrade, who gets ragdolled in every time she fights a wrestler. Sorry, dude. Brian Ortega at home did terrible last night. I'm just going to say that. And Jackie Chan beat the shit out of him. It's terrible. Just awful. A horrible person I am. But honestly, dude, I told you, not only am I a big Zhang Weili fan, I know that she's the best in the world. I think she can beat Valentina. That's the fight that I'd probably like to see next. But stay tuned for the matchmaking because there may be something different happening. I'll keep you in the loop. But, dude, Zhang Weili pieced up Tatiana the entire fight. And Zhang Weili tried to make it fun. It was just Tatiana shooting at legs. And here's the thing with Tatiana is she had great entries on the takedown. She would get to the body. She would get to the hips. Have her hands locked behind Zhang Weili's butt. And not able to get it to the takedown. Like, the athleticism and the balance from Zhang Weili was amazing. But Tatiana not being able to finish those takedowns, and you're telling me she's the best wrestler in the division. She's dominant in the wrestling, dude. No one can stop her. She's taking down dudes in the training room. Bro, first of all, they're letting her take them down because they want to be mounted. But second of all, like, I'm not even going to. What did anyone see in the fights leading up to this to think that she was going to beat Zhang Weili? She can beat Mackenzie Dern, who's going to be willing to go to the ground with her, and, wrestling's going to be jiu-jitsu every time. She can beat someone who can't defend a takedown. Dude, I don't think she beats Yan Xiaonan. I don't think she beats Verna Jandiroba. I don't. I don't think Tatiana was the real number one contender. I don't. And I hate that this sounds like me shitting on Tatiana Suarez, because I'm not. I don't dislike Tatiana Suarez, but I just never got behind this whole Tatiana's this dominant grappler. She's so good. We got gaslit by everyone in the MMA community that glazes grappling too much. Bro, it's an MMA fight. Zhang Weili figured it out. And she played jiu-jitsu a little too early, but once she realized the jiu-jitsu game wasn't working, she goes, fine, I'll just sprawl back to the feet. And that's what she did every time. And Zhang Weili dominated Tatiana in the grappling. She dominated her in the striking, dominated her in the cardio. And the knee cut. Oh, everyone's going to talk about, the knee cut's really bothering her. Dude, she can't fucking feel that knee cut. She's in the middle of a fight. Adrenaline's pumping right now. She's also grappled 1,000,000 times, so that cut happens all the time. Give me a break. Give me a break. Zhang Weili dominated her. I'm so happy to be the guy to say it. Casual check, dude. If you pick Tatiana Suarez, you're a fucking casual, dude. I'm calling it spade a spade. You're a fucking casual. Go ahead and listen to Joe Rogan more. Go listen to DC and Chael Sonnen and all these guys tell you about how great she is at grapple. Yeah. Don't research with your eyes. Just listen to them. The fact that she was a favorite is insane to me. She closed a -150 favorite against the reigning champion, who's only lost to Rose Namajunas twice. Debatably beat her one of those times. And she also got flash head kicked in the first round. Who was the other person she lost to? Yeah, her only other loss was a decision. Long time ago. First fight in her career. Bro. That's crazy to me. Crazy to me that people actually pick Tatiana Suarez as a favorite, dude. That's so crazy. But moving on, Justin Tafa, Taliesin Teixeira. We're going to get through the rest of these pretty quick. There's not too much to talk about. I've kept you here for a while. I talked a lot about the fights that I really wanted to talk about. But Justin Tafa, Taliesin Teixeira. Justin Tafa's terrible. You know this. He's 7-5. He's just fat. He weighed in a pound over 265, which is not the limit, but 266 is the limit. He reached the limit at heavyweight. He's 266. Fighting against a 6'7" Taliesin Teixeira. Talashin Teixeira beat his ass. Honestly, impressive performance on Talashin Teixeira. I'm excited to see what he can do. But, like, dude, can we not put Justin Tafa on a card? Can we cut Justin Tafa? If you're cutting Rosenstrike, why the fuck is Tafa in the UFC? It doesn't make sense to me. Because of payment, you're probably paying Tafa a decent amount. You're putting him on the fucking pay-per-view, feature fight of a pay-per-view, just to get knocked out in 35 seconds by a guy that's bigger than him. Because Justin Tafa's fat, out of shape. Yeah, he has power, but dude, he's got cool Samoan tattoos and he's got big looping overhand. Not to Lucas Tracy. That's felt like Lucas Tracy with even the head nod. Almost like I was untruthfully, but that's an inside joke. I'm not gonna talk about every single nice 7-Eleven owner. Talashin Teixeira literally just beat the shit out of him for 30 seconds and knocked him out with an elbow and a knee that was almost grounded. But, like, yeah, they got up into the clinch. He blasted a knee. He blasted an elbow, and that was the end of Justin Tafa. Justin Tafa sucks. Get him out of the UFC. Don't ever put him on a fucking pay-per-view again. It makes no sense. It literally makes no sense on why he's on a pay-per-view. No one's excited to see him, not even the Aussies. No one cares about a shitty fighter who is 7-5. He's not Mark Hunt. Stop pretending he is. Talashin Teixeira, great performance. Interested to see where he goes. Like, let's not rush him. He's 25 years old. Make sure we can build him up, have a good prospect. Like, don't throw him to the wolves right away. Don't give him the Gaziev jump that he got. Like, don't. I'd like to see this guy work his way up. Granted, he's going to be in the rankings soon because heavyweight has Dontel Mays in the rankings. But, like, come on, man. Come on. Talashin Teixeira, think he's going to be a decent product. I think this guy can be in the top 10 perennially. I think he can be a perennial top 10 guy, but let's not rush him there. He's got a lot to work on still. Got a quick knockout. I know it was hard, but I've seen his Contender Series fight. He's got some stuff to work on. Great performance from Talashin Teixeira. Moving on, this fight was sick. Rodolfo Bellato, Jimmy Crute. Jimmy Crute had a lot more grit than I anticipated him having. He got a knockdown early. This guy's the king of draws, bro. Look at this. He has 2 draws. Jimmy Crute got a knockdown early and then just out-grappled Bellato for the entire rest of the first round, 10-8. I agree with the 10-8. I think it was a good 10-8. There are other fights that maybe should have been a 10-8 that didn't get him, but, like, I'm not going to let that skew my impression that this, in my opinion, was a 10-8. He absolutely beat the shit out of Rodolfo Bellato for a round. And Jimmy Crute brought the dog, dude. He did. It was a great, great dominant first round. This is a good fight. This is one of them that, like, everyone should watch. They didn't get fight of the night because Rong Zhu and Cody Steele got it, which we'll talk about later. That was a sick fight too. But because that was that Rong Zhu underdog pick, man. I fucking told you. Jimmy Crute brought the fight in the first round. And he honestly, we get to round 2 and 3. I think Bellato won those 2 rounds. So I actually think 28-28 draw was the right card. Round 3 was pretty close. I'm sorry, round 2 was pretty close. I don't remember which one was the close one, but Bellato ends up having his comeback, like his classic. All right, I lost the first round. Time to lock in. Starts throwing leg kicks. Starts throwing the hook up top. Jabs to the body a little bit. Like, looked really, really good in this fight in the second and third round. And got his classic comeback. Now, he didn't win, but he came back not to lose. And you got to respect that. Like, Bellato's a fun fighter, dude. I enjoy watching his fights. Alex Pereira at home, literally. This is what, like, Wellington Tournament could have been. But Jimmy Crute, dude, you can't even, like, disrespect. Like, he brought the fucking fight. He really did. Brought the fight. Gets a 10-8 in the first round. But then, I mean, dude, he really does stink at striking, though. I will say that. Jimmy Crute's grappling is amazing. His striking is so bad. He looks like he's dancing around in the octagon with, like, the hobbly-bobbly knees. And Bellato really just pieced him up when it got to the feet. Like, I know Jimmy Crute got the knockdown in the first round, but, like, other than that, it was a lot of trading back and forth. But Bellato was getting the better of the exchanges. He was tagging Jimmy Crute. And he gets those 2 rounds. This is a sick fight. I highly recommend anyone watch it. I totally agree with the 28-28 draw. Francisco Prado versus Jake Matthews. There's not much to say here, man. I don't get why, and I didn't realize that Prado was actually going up in weight. I don't know why that didn't come to my mind in the prediction, but Prado went up in weight, and you could see that he was slower. He doesn't have the pop for welterweight, and now he doesn't have the speed of a lightweight anymore. So it's like, I don't get what, I think he should go back down to lightweight. I think it makes a lot more sense for him. And granted, like, he's a fun fighter. He bites down the mouthpiece. He goes for it every time. Jake Matthews schooled him, bro. Jake Matthews had that Andre Fialho performance where he was putting the boxing combinations together like an absolute madman, defensively grappling very well. Jake Matthews looked great in this fight, and he really just outclassed Francisco Prado the entire fight for all 3 rounds. His boxing combinations were on point. This was one of those really, really great performances where he was able to mix things up to the head, the body, and he was very, very defensively sound up top, too. Didn't really get hit in the head much. His head movement was good. His parrying was good. His footwork was phenomenal, and he was able to find the combinations and the counters to absolutely destroy Francisco Prado in there. He took him to school, 30-27. Amazing performance from Jake Matthews. Dude, I'm ready for it, man. I'm ready for the Jake Matthews rankings run, bro. Title run is, a little too optimistic, but this guy's 30. He's fought a ton in the UFC. He's very battle-tested. Let's see him continue to move up in those rankings. And again, not the top 15 rankings, the top 50 rankings, right? I want to see him keep moving up and fighting better competition and better... Because now he's coming off a win over Phil Rowe, who was not a bad fighter, just a very timid one. And Francisco Prado, who's, again, not a bad fighter, but made the wrong decision of going up in weight. Masterclass from Jake Matthews, 30-27. Excellent performance. Another one, dude. I thought it was dicey. I thought Jack Jenkins was going to get the win here. When he had that kick in the first round, bro, I thought he was going to get the win. But he didn't. Kind of fumbled the finish a little bit. He didn't get the win. But I think Jack Jenkins is pretty good. It's just Gabriel Santos is better. I told you guys that Gabriel Santos is a serious problem. Serious problem in this division. Very, very good fighter. And Jack Jenkins is good too, but Gabriel Santos has proven it time and time again that he can go through adversity. And okay, so here's the thing. First round he loses. He got almost knocked out by Jack Jenkins. And then throws up the triangle that Jenkins is able to get out of. This is sick. And we're like, all right, dude, this is a great first round. But then Gabriel Santos wet blankets him for all of round 2. And granted, he dominates him in the grappling. Like he went at least past the resistance, dominated him, absolutely dominated him in the grappling. Round 3 comes around, and we got 1-1. Jack Jenkins decides to go to the takedown, gets reversed, and Gabriel Santos, with his amazing jiu-jitsu, gets a rear naked choke. This guy's jiu-jitsu is amazing. This guy's striking's pretty good, too. It's like sufficient for where his jiu-jitsu's at. This guy's a serious problem in the division to watch out for, bro. I think this is a guy that at the end of the year, you could see him. This guy's going to make a run at the rankings. I can see in 2026, this guy getting ranked top 15. This guy getting ranked maybe top 10. I can see him having a great, he gets another win here in the middle of the year in 2025, gets a win at the end of the year in 2025, and then he's looking at a ranked opponent for competition in 2026 to start. So, amazing performance from Gabriel Santos, able to withstand the adversity from Jack Jenkins in the first round and then dominate the second, get a submission in the third. Gabriel Santos is a problem. Jack Jenkins is good, man, but he drew a tough one here in Gabriel Santos, and the odds makers got it right. So, Gabriel Santos gets a submission victory in round 3. Moving on, Slava Claus versus Tom Nolan. I did think this was 29-28 Slava. 29-28 Tom Nolan. Tom Nolan looked a lot better. This is the kind of performance I needed to see from Tom Nolan to say, okay, I can actually make a prediction for him now. Because, his last fight against Alex Reyes was not impressive. His fight before that against Victor Martinez was not, I think it was Victor Martinez was not impressive. He got a first-round knockout, but he also got knocked down in the first round. So, I'm like, this guy's got a chin problem, and he's mostly a striker, and he's going to try and strike with Slava Claus? Lo and behold, Slava did have some good moments. This was a good fight. But Tom Nolan was very good at being defensively sound and very good at moving forward a lot to make Slava not able to really hit flow state. We didn't really see a point in time where Slava was able to hit his flow state and really cleanly land on the chin of Tom Nolan to drop him or anything. Now, the grappling exchanges were pretty fun in that first round. You had Tom Nolan almost latch up a Darce twice and then almost get a rear naked choke another time. Slava literally is insane at defending these submissions now. His submission defense has gotten so much better. His defensive grappling has gotten so much better. And we've seen that now fight after fight. But he's just kind of got to string some wins together to get it going here, because now we're at a spot where he's 8-5-1. And every fight he gets into is fun, so I don't expect him to be cut yet. But he is 8-5-1. The record does not look good. And he did just lose to Tom Nolan. So, again, great performance from Tom Nolan. This is one that was totally unexpected, from me at least. I thought he was going to get chinned early. But this is the kind of performance I needed to see from Tom Nolan to feel confident picking him and confident that he has a place here in the UFC. So it was a great performance from Tom Nolan. Slava fought as tough as he could, but he just wasn't able to get it done. I agree with a 29-28 decision for Tom Nolan, and he gets it done. This sucks, man. I don't want to see Slava losing constantly, but let's give him a fucking layup so he can get back into a win state here. Let's get, I'd like to see Slava get 2 layups in a row where he can get wins, go to 10-5, and you go, all right, now it's time to start moving him up again, because again, like, this guy's not making a title run, but he's got really a fun fight style, and he's very, very fun when he's got the right opponent in fights. Tom Nolan was a good opponent. It was a fun fight. He just lost. Let's give him more fun fights. Let's give him ones that he could, like a Trevor Peek fight would be awesome against Slava. That one would be sick. Tom Nolan, he's going to be starting to look up more and more, so this guy's got 3 wins in a row now. He's a problem, especially at that, and if he can keep that weight cut going well, this guy's he's gonna do something. I don't know what, but he'll do something. Moving on, Wayne Kong versus Bruno Brazil. Masterclass. I thought it was going to be a finish from Wayne Kong, but she actually ended up just masterclassing Bruno Brazil. Bruno, don't worry, dude. Like, if you need a shoulder to cry on, like, I'm always here. But Wayne Kong, dude, absolute monster. Like, yes, she lost to Gabriela Fernandez, but, like, this was an insanely good performance. Insanely good. She is very good. She is really, really good. And that's why I say don't let that one performance let you down, because she was winning that first round. She just got a little too crazy in front of the home crowd and got dropped with a really powerful punch. And then Gabriela Fernandez had the quickest back take I've seen in women's MMA in a long time. So, honestly, ever. I think it was quicker than Grasso getting Shevchenko's back. But, yeah, I mean, she really just schooled Bruno Brazil across 3 rounds. Low kicks were great. She was crushing the leg. And then her boxing combinations looked really good. She was able to mix it up to the body. This girl's striking is sick. It's nasty. Listen, everyone was glazing Bruno Brazil because she beat Molly McCann. Molly McCann sucks. Like, I don't know why people don't understand that yet. But great performance from Wayne Kong. Absolutely masterclass Bruno Brazil. 30-27. Great performance. Moving on, Colby Thicknessy. Colby Thickness. Come on, guys. We're calling it. Versus Alexandre Topuria. Great first round from Alexandre Topuria. I did think he won this fight 30-27. Round 2 was very, very close. I did give it to Topuria, but it was very, very close. Round 1 was dominant, looked really good, hurt Colby Thickness really bad. And that's what Colby Thickness kind of does. He like grits out that first round after getting hurt and then comes back to win. Round 2 was close. Still think Topuria did enough. I just think he lands the more powerful shots every time he throws, and he's always the guy going forward. So you got to consider that when those rounds are super close. And he was able to implement his grappling and do well. And then round 3, his grappling was great. Like, it wasn't fun, I will say. A lot of laying and praying. It wasn't very fun grappling, but it was dominant. He was able to hold down Colby Thickness. And he got the win against a not shitty opponent. So that's a good win for Alexandre Topuria. I do think Topuria is going to lose at some point in the future. I think this guy's destined to be fraud checked. I don't agree with the narrative that he's this absolute world beater. He's Ilya 2.0. Bantamweight is a problem. Bantamweight is another Ilya. Like, I don't agree with that. But what I will say, I'm impressed. I'm impressed that he got to a decision and didn't totally gas out. I'm impressed that he was able to absolutely win this fight across 3 rounds. So Alexandre Topuria gets the win. Don't think he's the absolute hype machine that everyone thinks he is, but you know what? That'll make for a really good underdog pick at some point in the future. So Alexandre Topuria got the win. Good win for him. Moving on. I predicted this fight perfectly. I think Cody Steele's really, really good. I just think Rong Zhu's better. I think Rong Zhu's a lot better than he gets credit for. And this guy really just outdid Cody Steele in every facet of MMA. The entire fight. Looked really, really good. Outboxed the shit out of Cody Steele. Cody Steele was able to grit down and throw, man. So respect to them. These two put on an absolute war. But this was Rong Zhu beating him up each round, all 3 rounds. It was all 3 rounds. Every round, 30-27. Easy, dominant win. Rong Zhu looked so good in this fight. I think Rong Zhu's really good, guys. I told you. I think he's really good. I think his boxing's very good. I think his takedown defense is good. This guy's good. And he's super young. 32 fights at the age of like 24, 25. This guy's super young. I think he's only going to continue to get better. And he is going to end up being a problem for life. I'm telling you, it's not going to be this year. He's going to be a problem with fraud checking some lightweights, yes. But at some point in the next 2-3 years, this guy is going to be an actual problem at lightweight. I'm telling you, Rongju's a monster. He's very, very good. He's physically massive in the division, too. I'm a fan of Rongju, bro. Looked really, really good. I'm a fan of Cody Steele as well, but this was like an absolute schooling across 3 rounds. Great performance from Rongju. Plus 270 underdog. I fucking told you. I know my shit. Come on, guys. Next up, Jonathan Mikulev, Kevin Jusay. Maybe I don't know my shit because I picked Kevin Jusay. Mikulev beat him, and beat him pretty clearly 2 rounds to 3, or 2 rounds to 1. That knockdown in the first round was sick. He did a great job of setting up that head kick with a body kick, but Mikulev ends up getting the win. Definitely did. Kevin Jusay just kind of got a little bit of those T-Rex arms, and when he's not able to get inside the boxing range, he's going to struggle. Mikulev did a great job of keeping this at kicking range, and then when Kevin Jusay would start to close in, he would kind of like lunge with a straight 2, so that way he could almost like punch and push Kevin Jusay back a little bit to get back at the kicking range so he can blast the body kick. So they were trading body kicks a lot, but Mikulev was obviously doing a lot more with it, and he was eventually mixing it up with kicks to the head. After round 1, you could see the side of Kevin Jusay's body was carved up. So tremendous performance from Jonathan Mikulev, and he gets the win. And finally, Anshul Jubli gets knocked out in 19 seconds by Quaylen Silcad. Was it an early stoppage? Yes. Did I think Silcal would have gotten the ground and pound KO anyway? Yes. Anshul Jubli looked really bad when he went down. And then he did kind of cover up, but the ref was already ready to jump in. Good knockout from Quaylen Silcad. And then Anshul Jubli just started complaining to the referee like he was a scam artist trying to get a grandmother to pay something over the phone. That's literally what it was, dude. So, ma'am, you need to hit pay now. Yes, hit pay now, ma'am. Yes, please, hit pay now. No, do not. Excuse me, ma'am, do not get off the page. You must hit pay now. Let's see if I get canceled for that one. Quaylen Silcad, great win. Absolutely great win. God, it's just funny, man. Take a fucking joke, people. It's always supposed to be funny. It sucks, man, for Indian MMA because they need a guy to help break into that market. It's a massive market, a ton of potential for them. Anshul Jubli is just not that guy. He's terrible. He really is. They're going to have to find and Pooja Tomar is also terrible, so I don't know how the hell they're breaking into that market. They need to find a fighter that they can break into that market with. Maybe Elizabeth Warren. Oh, no, she's just Native American. But, yeah, Quaylen Silcad gets a round 1 knockout. This was a pretty decent card, not terrible. And DDP, man, fucking monster. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Prediction King's back, dude. We're going to be rolling going into next week. Thank you for watching.